Welcome, everyone, to this special edition of Phillies Unfiltered, off-season edition. And we have some stuff to talk about, Jim. It was a slow start to the off-season, but things picked up here in the last couple of weeks. Not in the Phillies' favor, really, and we'll get into that.
Not at all. Yeah, let's
Um,
get to that. Oh
yeah.
boy.
So, and we've been real quick. We've been busy doing a different podcast, which
Yes.
we could talk a little bit about. I wrote a story, a trilogy of science fiction books, and we have recorded that, and it is coming out right now. The first episode is out. Jim was kind enough to lend his voice acting talents to that for three different
I
roles.
did.
Very huge
Yes.
help. My wife Bridget did a ton of roles as well. Cameron, a bunch of people have helped us out with this. So we definitely take a look at that. Just give it a shot, especially if science fiction is something you're interested in.
Yeah,
I'm pretty proud of it. It was a lot of hard work. Still working on
I
it,
agree.
but anyway, that's what we've been working
Yeah,
on in our off season.
yeah,
um,
yes,
but
that first episode just released. I took a listen to it. It was awesome.
thank you, and yes, yeah. So it's out
Of
there.
course.
We can share that later on, some of the details. But we're here to talk about the Phillies and baseball generally, but specifically what the Phillies have and have not been doing in the offseason. So they've been active, or at least appearing to be active, but the results haven't been there. Is that fair to say?
Yes,
Did they?
active. I think active is it might be a heavy term, honestly. Like, I think they've been present.
That's
I
fair.
mean,
Present, yeah.
so I mean, they're the team. The team has been thrown around with some guys, and whether or not they get the job done is to be seen still for what's left out there.
Right.
Um, it's yeah, running it back.
Right, that's the term that keeps coming up, and I think that is, as of now, that's essentially what's happening. Minus one thing. There's like what and we'll get to that player that's slightly different. But I mean, let's start with, I guess we'll go somewhat chronologically in terms of how these guys were brought back or signed. Kyle Schwarber was pretty quickly brought back. He it sounds like he had
Yeah,
intended to come back the entire time. He did take a meeting with Cincinnati. I think that was a courtesy thing because he that was his team. I think growing up, maybe like he was a fan of them. And I think he did listen to them, and they gave a comparable offer to what the Phillies offered as well. But I think
yeah,
he likes being here. His kids have only known living in Philly. I think that a lot of that went into it for him, but we gave him 5 years, 150 million. It's a long deal. I don't love the amount of years. I don't know that I hate the money for what he provides, but he's going to be 38 when that contract runs out. How effective is he going to be? I think you can expect 3 years of probably this level of production, kind of what we've seen so far,
yeah.
and then maybe a drop off. That's my take. What do you think?
I think if you can get 200 homers out of them in that 5 year time frame, I'd be very happy. I
Yeah,
don't. I think the deal's a little long as well, but I'm happy that he's back. He's great for the clubhouse. He's great for the team. He's great for the city.
yeah,
So he wins. He brings wins. He brings runs in if he's in those positions. So I think it was a necessary thing. I mean, that extra year or two is probably the
yeah.
reason why he's back. I think since he might have been an actual competitor here, but it's good. I don't have any complaints about bringing him back.
Yeah, I don't think there was a better option. Like he was by far the best option, on the market for
I mean,
power
most
hitting
proven
and
DH
driving runs in.
option. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, I think it had to happen. Um, you know, uh, Again, the issue though comes now, and I think we talked about this. You and I did privately anyway. I think the goal would have been to have Harper convert to DH in a few years. This will probably mess that plan up a little bit because you
oh for
know
sure.
Schwarber can't play the field. I mean, he just you except the odd
No,
day in left field maybe where you can kind of put him out there on a Sunday if they've already taken two of the games in the series or whatever.
yeah, it
But
doesn't matter
he,
anymore. Yeah.
he's not going to be able to play the field. And yeah, Harper right now is fine at first base. I don't think there's any concerns. But 2, 3, 4 years, I don't know. Maybe at that point you're going to have to be DHing Bryce more. So cross that bridge when you get to it. Hopefully you can find a way to win a championship in the next couple of seasons before you get to that, you know, old
Yeah,
man
that's
stage with these
yeah.
guys.
We'll
But
get to that conversation too. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I agree with. I think it was a good deal in terms of the money and what you're getting. Long for sure, but I don't think we could have gotten it done any other way. Unfortunately, I think that that's what he was looking for. This is his.
I
I'm
agree.
finishing up my career deal. I want to, and it's hard to argue with the numbers. Playoffs, different story. We need to see him show up if we get to the playoffs, and we'll get to that too, because a lot has changed in our division and around us. Um, we'll see,
Yes,
but.
yes.
Um, so yeah, that was the first thing. The other one that the Phillies made was Garcia, Adolis Garcia. I don't hate this deal. It's a Kepler deal. It's what they gave Kepler. I expect better output
Yes,
from
exactly.
Garcia, and defensively,
100%.
huge upgrade over Nick
Oh yeah.
Castellanos. Hitting might be comparable. People don't seem to. The people hate on Nick, and I'm one of those people at times. But if you look at the numbers of late, the hitting may end up being about even, although Garcia just 2 years ago I think it was 2 years ago, was the
I think it was
ALCS
a
MVP, I
World
think, maybe the
Series,
World Series MVP. I mean,
ALCS MVP. Yeah, he was dominant in those series. Oh,
yeah,
Brent, I
sorry.
lost you
Yeah,
for a
so
second.
yeah, sorry, I think I cut out. What did you say? Can you say that again? What you said about Adolis?
No, he was. So I was saying he was dominant in those series. Like, he was
Yeah, so we know
electric.
he performs in the playoffs, right? Like we know that, and that's something we do need. And he could do damage at that park. Citizens Bank Park is a better hitting park than the ballpark in Arlington. I mean, it's or whatever they're calling it these days. I don't know what its corporate name
Globe Life.
is. Right.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's not known as much of a hitter park as certainly CBP. So he might be able to give you 25 home runs, and if he does, that's fantastic. But the defense will
Yeah.
be good. The guy's got a great arm. He gets to a lot of balls out there. It's a good deal. It's low risk. 1 year, 10 mil.
I agree.
You're really not risking much. And if he has a good year, maybe then you're like, all right, we'll give you a couple more, and you bring him back. Who knows? But for this year, I think it's a good move. Not earth shattering. A lot of fans were like, oh, this
No.
is our big move. No, it wasn't meant to be a big move, but it's an upgrade certainly over Kepler and over Castellanos defensively. So I liked it, but yeah. So we'll see
I mean,
what he does.
most people are upgrades over Kepler at this point. And how about him getting suspended for 80 games?
Yep, which is really sad. After
It's
that
really
year,
sad.
that's yeah, man. You didn't take enough of them, I guess. I don't know.
It's like it tells you how great Barry Bonds was.
Yeah,
Like
no, there's no
he didn't
question.
suck.
Bonds was one of the best contact hitters ever, and that doesn't steroids don't help you with that. We can get the argument could be made
Before
that
roids.
the home run stuff was definitely helped by that, but I will give him to him. He was one of the best contact hitters that ever played the game. Um,
Yeah,
anyway,
got the
so
ball skills,
but
man.
but yeah, Garcia, that's he's our right fielder, starting right fielder. They've made that clear. They've also made it clear Nick will be traded or released. At this point, I can't see a team dumb enough to trade for him, knowing that the Phillies have to release him. Why would you trade for him and give up prospects when you could
Right.
just sign him? So I don't think that's
Yeah.
happening. I don't think we're getting anything for Nick.
And
I think we'll release him soon, presumably, and he'll
see ya.
maybe pick up somewhere else. Yeah.
I mean, you
Um,
could tell he hated being here last year.
yeah.
He was just different. It's
We
fine. See ya. I don't
yeah.
need you anymore.
We talked about this that he ran his course with us. I think the team and him, the
Yes,
relationship
absolutely.
ran its course. He he and Thompson did not seem to be getting along. And it is what it is. It happens. But I think we did make an upgrade all in all in right field with this move. So
We should have, yes.
yeah. So moving on through the list of players here. Now this isn't exactly chronological, but I think it's on that level of importance. JT, we that was a standoff that lasted way longer than I think anybody expected it to when the
Mm.
offseason started. Um, we essentially got him for like we offered him 3 years a month ago, I think, and then he continued to kind of stand off and say, I don't know, I'm waiting. Nobody else was interested, as far as I heard, not seriously
Same.
anyway. Nobody wanted to give him 3 years. Ultimately, we gave him 3 years for 45 million. I think I don't love that extra year, obviously, at his age, but again, I think this is one of those things where you just bite the bullet for the tail end of the contract. And 2 years he should be still solid behind the plate for, and that's what you're signing him for. You're not signing him for his bat at this point. Anything he gives you with the bat is a bonus.
All right.
He is there to catch and to call games and to make the pitching staff feel more comfortable.
And thankfully he can provide that because otherwise he's getting paid $1 million per double play.
that's a, that's a very
It's like,
very pessimistic way to look at it, but I get it. Yeah.
I mean, like he's a 35-year-old catcher. Like, what are we
Absolutely.
doing? We need to make bigger moves. We need bigger splashes than re-signing JT Realmuto. He's a great catcher, great calling games. I can't see him hitting 4 or 5. He
No,
needs to be
and
down
that's
7, 8 at this point in his career.
I agree. If you're bringing him back, that's fine. Lean on him as the defensive captain of your team,
That's
essentially,
it.
because
That's
he
it.
is. Anything he gives you with the bat is a bonus, but I agree with you. He should be below the 6th spot. He should be 7, 8, something down
He's
there at this point. He's no
he's
higher than your
a
7 hitter.
he's essentially a faster, slightly better hitting version of Carlos Ruiz at this
Yeah,
point in his career.
yeah, and I mean we saw
Because
last year the
shoot
second
your
half
hit.
of
Like,
no, he didn't, and the second half of the season JT did come alive a little bit, and in the playoffs, frankly, he was one of the only guys that showed up with the bat.
he can
But
he gets streaky.
he does. But again, like you said, we signed him for defense. And it can't be understated his value, the value he brings to that pitching staff, which is now minus Ranger. You're going to be relying on Andrew
Yes.
Painter this year, and you need a guy like JT back there to get him into a comfort zone and to feel like he's got someone back there who's going to block the breaking pitches, who's going to bail him out when he needs him to. I don't think it was a bad move. I'm annoyed at how long it took. I'm a little annoyed at JT for overvaluing himself at 35 years old. I feel like this could have been dealt with earlier, and it might have helped the Phillies map out their offseason a little bit more effectively. I think there was a lot of waiting
It could have been an
on
agent
him.
thing too.
It could have, and I'm sure. I'm not going to blame JT. Yes, agents are involved, GMs, presidents of baseball operations, all that stuff. But
I see what you did there.
I he'll be 38 too, though, when he's done. That's how old we are, right?
Yes, it is.
And I don't know about you.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't think I
not.
can
We're not in
run.
the shape. That's what I was going to say. I don't know about
No.
you, but I don't feel like I could be, crouching down behind the plate at my age
No,
doing
for
that.
100,
So,
120 times 9.
well,
No.
that's the other thing. I think we talk about this every year. They're going to dial JT's games back.
I doubt it.
At some point they're going to physically have to. He's just not going to be able to go at that rate. Marchand, I think, is okay in spots. Like he is good behind the plate. He's got a good arm. The bat you'd like to see a little bit more out of. And how do you improve that? You got to give him at bats, but it's finding the times to do that. So he's not your
Just
catcher of the future. I think he's a career backup. That's just my take on it. But
yeah,
you
but
know,
just don't forget that JT is a physical freak of nature. Like,
sure, but that runs out at a certain
like
point, though.
he's yeah. I mean, Father Time always wins, right? But
Hmm.
we'll see how much longer he's got physically.
Yeah,
I mean, next
but
year, this coming year, I think he'll be okay getting those innings in. But
yeah,
that's about it.
yeah, I agree. And I mean, again, mentally, just the way he thinks the game is unrivaled. I mean, he's a brilliant guy in terms of understanding the game and how it proceeds and pitch calling, and just the situational stuff, right? Like he was the one pointing at Kirkering first. Like he's right there telling him where to go. He knew
Yeah,
exactly what he should be doing. And
Yeah.
again, we don't have to get back into that. But my point is, JT sees the game as a good catcher should. So I'm okay having him back. This is going to be a over 55 community in a couple of years. This team is going to look like an over 55 community, but
Yeah.
hopefully we're able to find a way to win one in the next 2 years. Because I think you and I talked. I think 2 years is the window. Once you hit two
I
years,
think so as well.
they're older. Unless Aiden Miller and Justin Crawford emerge as like elite talents at this level, it's going to be hard to see them winning after 2 years without recharging or reloading in some form or another.
You have
But
to
we'll
make
get there.
some sort of huge move. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there. But the other move the Phillies made, and this didn't get a lot of press, but I think it could prove to be an interesting one, is Brad Keller, relief pitcher.
Yeah. So I saw that he was one of the literal best setup men all of
ERA
last
was
year.
insane. It was great.
So that is an underrated move. Like I think he's gonna be pitching for Team USA. So like he's
Yeah.
well thought of. So this should play well. We have a guy that can set up their on.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
excited about it.
Alvarado is at the back end too. So you have a lefty. If
Uh,
Alvarado returns to form, you have a lefty and a righty option for the setup role. I like that.
you you didn't mention that when our discussions because we picked him up. We picked up his
Right.
option. So I think Jose can give us something. I'm going to trust that he's going to. He needs to make up for
Yeah.
his
And
poor decisions last year.
exactly. And he, from a financial standpoint, it made sense to do that because it would have been more expensive to
Yeah,
go out and get a full-fledged free agent guy. He has something to prove, as you just said. I think it makes sense to bring him back because, yeah, he has a lot to prove, and he's not that old yet. I think, what's he, like, in his late 20s still, 30? I don't think he's that
something
old.
like
Like,
that.
for a
Yeah,
relief
yeah.
pitcher, he
I mean, he
has
looks
some
older,
life
but
left in him. So,
yeah,
right. But, yeah, so I think that was a good move to get Keller. His career ERA is rather high, but when you look at it, he started for the first few years of his career, which I think impacted that. When he switched to being a reliever, especially after he came back from that injury issue, the same issue that Zach's dealing with, that the same
yeah. The
um,
thoracic outlet syndrome.
the
Yeah,
thoracic, yeah. So once he came back from that, and he was purely a relief pitcher, he's been really good for basically 2 years. I mean, he's looked pretty good. So I'm good with this move, and I think it's not that big of a commitment. It's only 2 years for 22 million. I mean, you can say that's a little high on the AAV, but 2 years isn't that much, and I think our bullpen's in decent shape. We did kind of going along with this. We did trade Strom. Um, and
yeah.
that was not performance based. That was apparently behavioral
Attitude.
related. Yeah, which
Yeah.
I did not see that coming because he has a good rapport with his teammates. So
Me neither.
it wasn't a clubhouse thing. It was an upper level management thing from what it sounds like. And maybe a little bit of Rob Thompson, but he had comments about like defending against the bunt and whether they practice that or not. And he said we really don't. And Dombrowski, I guess, took issue and said no, that we do practice that. So I don't think
You don't.
I don't think the
Yeah.
brass really appreciated his take on that. I was surprised though because I got the impression that he was very well liked around the organization, and it sounds like by players maybe
Me
he
too.
was. Um, I'm annoyed at that trade because we got nothing for him. We got nothing for him.
Yeah.
And we could have gotten something for him. He's been an effective reliever by and large since we've had him. I mean, sure he's had his bumps, everybody has, but all in all, he has eaten a lot of innings, and he can pitch against lefties and righties, which is hard for when you talk about a left-handed reliever. He's one of the more effective left-handed pitchers against righties that I've seen us have in a while. So I didn't like
Yeah.
that deal. I'm not opposed to trading him if they feel that he's not in the mix anymore and he's causing issues, but get something for him. Don't just dump him to dump the
Yeah.
salary. And they didn't use the salary for anything productive at this point yet.
No.
So
So we'll see.
yeah, so that was that. Strom is gone. Another big move, a departure, Ranger
Yeah.
going to Boston.
Not. That was expected
It
for him to
was.
go. I didn't. I didn't think he was going to stay here. I
Me
mean,
neither.
he get your money, Ranger. I'm happy for
Me
you.
too. Yeah.
I mean, I hope he can pitch enough innings for them.
Yeah.
It's one problem he's always had is his health and how many innings he could actually pitch. So they'll be lucky if they get 150 out of him.
Yeah, he's got back problems,
But
and those keep recurring. I
uh,
mean,
yeah, but he's a big game pitcher, and he's done it all.
and he's an
So
athlete. He's not just a pitcher. That dude is an
he's
athlete.
quite an athlete.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes. So
5 years, 130 million. We were not going to match
good
that.
for him.
We were not going to give him that.
No,
And I know people. I'm in Maryland, as many of our listeners know, and I know people. A lot of Orioles fans were disappointed they missed out on him because they were in on him. So they were disappointed not getting him and losing him to a division rival, which we know something
right.
about in a different context,
Yeah.
which we will talk about.
Well, yeah. Back to the Orioles real quick. They're all
Yeah.
they're all in. Like
They've made some moves. Pete Alonso.
Yeah. So watch out because I remember last year I said I liked what the Blue Jays did.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Santander didn't really work out, Scherzer actually made a difference. But watch out for the Orioles. I think they're going to make a play. And
Well, they have young talent.
Tough competition in the AL.
They still have one
Yeah.
of the best young cores offensively. With you got Holiday, you've got Gunnar Henderson. I mean, they've got a lot of young guys.
Adding Alonso.
Right. Yeah. And that might help that with the veteran presence, been into the playoffs, that kind of stuff. I think that you're right. They're someone you should look out for.
Watch out.
Pitching's going to be their thing, though. They're going to have to be able to find a way to pitch.
They got Shane Baz in a trade, and they got some good talent. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but I think their whole rotation was pretty decimated last year, so we'll see how they recover. I think that's why they really wanted to bring Ranger in too, because they view that as their weak point. Is I think their pitching, and because their offense is going to put up runs as long as they stay healthy. I think they're going to score.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So Ranger gone. I agree with you. I wish him the best. He's not going to the Mets, which it looked like there was a chance that could happen at one point. So I'm glad he didn't go there.
Exactly what we said to each other.
Yeah. And
at least it's not the Mets.
Exactly. So he's looking to be in a good situation there. I hope he does well.
Me too.
And with that, I think what that signifies is, Andrew Painter, we are relying on you to be a steady member of this rotation this year, and you got to perform. To me, that's what that says. Like, they didn't really, from what I heard, they didn't really make a prolonged exploration of re-signing Ranger. Maybe they sat down and said, look, this is what we could do if he came back, knowing full well that he would be getting more money elsewhere, and they just kind of did it as a courtesy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think they've held Painter out of trades for a couple of years now. It's time to bring him up and see what he's got. I mean, that's where we're at.
You have no other options. You lost McGarry to in the Rule 5 draft.
The Rule 5.
Traded McGable. Andrew Painter is got to be the guy.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we're back with Nola. We know we've got Nola coming back. He's still a lot of time left on that deal. Wheeler, it sounds like is progressing well from everything I've heard and read. That's good. That's a good sign because in my mind, when it first happened, I was just like kind of pessimistically, kind of like, I don't think he's ever going to pitch again. I just had a feeling like this is going to be it at his age, and the way he's talked about not putting himself through hell basically for baseball because he's got a family and he's, it's not like he's hurting financially. But it sounds like he's doing well. We might get one more year of Zach. Now, will it be Cy Young level Zach? I don't expect it to be, but could it be number 2 in the rotation level Zach? Possibly. And if that's the case, we can work with that because we got our ace. We've got Christopher Sanchez.
Yeah, yes, Christopher Sanchez. Which you keep throwing it in my face. Christopher Sanchez, keep doing what you're doing. Man.
Yeah. So that's where we are with that. So, I think that was a big I say all that to tie it together. I think that's a big reason why we let Ranger walk.
That will essentially be a big pickup a month or two into the season is getting Zach Wheeler back.
Yep. Absolutely. So now I think we need to talk about the big thing that has or really hasn't happened.
Yeah.
The Phillies, I guess 2-ish weeks ago, really started getting mentioned heavily in the Bo Bichette sweepstakes. We were talking to JT for a while, and that kept going on and on. And I think the Phillies were like, "All right, you figure your life out, JT. We're going to start figuring out what our contingency is here." And it seemed like they were like, "Well, if he's not going to sign, we'll see about signing Bo and maybe trading for." It sounded like Jeffers in Minnesota to kind of fix the catching situation, whatever. Anyway, it gets to the point last week where you and I are reading the same things. It looks like we're on the verge of signing this guy. I mean, every report coming out, all these all these experts are
Overwhelming.
saying, yeah, he's going to Philly. We met with him. It sounded like it went extremely well. We gave him the offer that he apparently requested, the exact offer, which was 7 years for $200 million, I believe, was the deal. And then only to find I guess it was late at night. It was a couple of days ago where it comes out the Mets signed him for 3 years, and it's like, well, what, three? And it's not even just 3 years; it's opt outs after each of the first 2 years. So
Yeah, because once the Mets met,
right,
maybe
he
he's
went
like, I'm sick of this already. So they're gonna be paying him a lot of money if he has 1 year. Was it 42 million a year? Or was it
42.
like
Ours was
that is
20.
that's insane.
Ours was 28 a year over a longer period of time. His is 42, and the Mets were 42, and it's funny because he would have fit well in this lineup. You and I talked about it. A right-handed bat, he would have done well hitting in that park, and he just was I think a natural fit into the middle of that lineup. I don't see what the Mets are doing. They're putting a lot of guys out of
So,
position. Polanco is going to be playing first base,
yep,
and
Polanco
and then
Bichette.
yeah, Bichette's going to be at third, which he's never played before. It doesn't mean anything because I think we could have possibly had him there, but I don't. All this said, I'm not afraid of the Mets still. I really am not. I think they're going to Met. I think they have a team of good hitters, but you have them out of position. I don't think there's natural roles for them in there. It's a weird way to build a baseball team. At
It's
least,
like, remember when we had three first basemen in the field?
yeah.
Uh,
Carlos
like
Santana, Reese Hoskins.
Reese, what, Tommy Joseph too?
Yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts. You can't do that. And so whatever. I'm not like bitter towards Bichette. Whatever, he got what he
So
wanted to do. Apparently, I don't understand the
yeah,
logic really, but
it's like it like I was thinking about it. It's like, I'm not mad at the Phillies for that. I'm not mad at Bo Bichette. I'm more mad at the Mets. I hate the Mets,
well, and
and it's like I
a
can't really.
lot of Phillies fans are complaining that the Phillies should have done more to get him. What could they? From my understanding, this is how it happened.
They offered him what he wanted.
They offered him the deal he wanted, and then my understanding is they got blindsided, and suddenly it's like he's signing with the Mets. I don't even think they had the chance to discuss or counter anything. So you can't really blame Dombrowski for this one. There's other ones, sure, you can blame Dombrowski for other things, but in this particular instance, it seems like they went all in. They put up the money. He kind of played them a little bit, it seems. I don't know,
You
but
know, you never know because he has these opt outs. Say he has some sort of amazing MVP type year, he opts out and he gets 50 million a year from somebody
yeah,
next year.
yeah, no,
Well, if there's baseball,
right, yeah,
that's
with the
that's
Dodgers are doing what they can to make sure.
to ruin baseball for
Well,
everybody.
and that's a separate debate, but something's got to give. They're not going to allow the deferments the way that because it's just creating a ridiculous situation out there. I see all these jokes. It's like Dodgers are going to sign
Jesus.
yeah, Jesus, but they're going to defer to like 2057 all the way out. It's going to cost them 1.7 billion and all these ridiculous jokes. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you and I were pretty sure it was happening. Most people were. It didn't. So now we're in a situation where, as you said, the phrase earlier, we're essentially running it back. Except for Garcia, we're running it back.
I think my biggest issue was once we lost out on Bichette, we immediately, like 2 hours later, re-signed JT, and I think that was just like knife in the heart
Yeah.
and twist. It's like you're gonna pivot to JT.
Well,
And like, this is not a big splash.
no,
This is a little dribble into the
but
into the
I don't
sinking.
think it was meant to be a big splash. I think what it was meant to be
I
was,
don't.
look, we missed out on this guy, and we had this contingency plan. If we signed him, we were going to
So,
let JT go. We're not getting this guy, so let's bring JT back and have the stability behind the plate and see what else
yeah,
we
I
can
mean,
do. But
so there's time remaining in the off season until
spring
pitchers and
training,
catchers
yeah.
report in about a month.
Yep.
A little less than a month now. Uh, but so I need to see that. I need to see that splash. I need to see something before I mention how I feel about this upcoming season right now. But
Yeah. So,
I know we have some other things to
well, yeah,
talk
we
about.
so there's a couple things. I don't know how relevant this is at this point, but and maybe it is, but I don't think it's anywhere we're going to go. The Phillies are going to go, but Bader is still a free agent. He is not getting offers for what he's looking for, that 3-year deal. Teams have been reluctant. I think he's going to get at best 2 years, maybe. Um, I liked him, but I agree at this point you have gotten Garcia, and I don't know that it makes a ton of sense to bring Bader back and platoon him with Marsh because again, that's very much running it back again too. You're just,
Yeah. I mean,
I like him, but
Bader was good.
yeah,
Yeah, I like him too. I think, but he had that Don Brown 6 week run, and everybody loved him, and
yeah.
then he tailed off. He wasn't. He was a little banged up, and uh, watch out for watch like St. Louis bring him back.
I mean, yeah, he'll get. I heard San Francisco was interested a while back, but that kind of petered out. I don't know if they're out on him or what, but yeah. So anyway, Bader is out there. I don't know if that's a direction that the team's looking right now, but another thing before we get into other names that are out there, I think we didn't talk about this yet, but Rob is back. Rob Thompson is back and got
Yeah,
an extension actually. Like he's got a few years they gave him.
he did. That was good. Yeah,
That I don't understand 100%. I don't really get bring him. I would have. I get why they brought him back to an extent. On the other hand, the exits the last couple of years, it would have been really easy to justify moving on. But a key component to this is Rob is back, but they brought Don Mattingly in as the bench coach, and I think that might
which is
change
great.
how this team operates in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
Um,
I, I I had one of the guys I bowl with. He's from New York, so he's a Yankees fan.
okay,
He's like, how much is Rob Thompson shaking in his boots right now? Because they just brought in Don Mattingly. He's like,
he's not.
I'm pretty sure Mattingly doesn't want to
He,
manage
he has
anymore.
come out and said that.
But
He has come out and said, "I'm done
yeah,
managing.
so
I don't want to do this." He's like, people don't seem to understand. Like, you have to deal with the press. You have to deal with a lot of like upper level, like the front office a lot. He's like, I just want to be around baseball. Rob and I are good friends. I want to be here. I want to see what I can do to help. I love that answer too, and I believe him. I don't think he's saying that because it's the politically
and,
correct thing to say.
and it seems like he can build relationships.
Yeah,
Like, so he can build a relationship with Bryce, Kyle, Trey, and like he was going to be an influence. So I'm sure he was some help a little bit towards attempting to sign Bichette.
yeah.
So you never know. Don Mattingly, just by being in the clubhouse,
Oh,
could
absolutely.
bring a few
And
guys
and
here.
that's what people don't like. What does a bench coach do? I saw a ton of people like, "Oh, great, we got a new bench coach." It's like, no, that's the guy who's keeping the spirits up. He's the guy on the bench that's kind of just seeing where the guy's mentality is at. He's the one talking to them if they're having an issue, having a bad game. He's the one that sits down and talks to them
Yeah.
about that. Don's good at that,
And,
and I think we need that
and
kind of thing.
let's let's not forget he was a Hall of Fame caliber player.
Mm-hmm.
He should be in the Hall of Fame, but he's a Hall of Fame caliber player. Like,
Absolutely.
he was. So he's been there. He's been a star in this league. He should know how to handle these guys.
I do think that's an underrated move this offseason. I think it will help.
I think it's their
I
best
think
move.
it's going to. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think it's going to make a positive impact on this club because you've got young guys that you're going to be seeing Crawford, potentially Miller at some point. Maybe not this year, but at some point you're going to have Miller in the mix. And then these veterans guys, as you mentioned, Don's been through it all, so he can speak to all of these guys about his experiences going through a major league career successfully. But he's also had lows, like any player, and he can kind of talk them through that. And Rob and him are friends, and I think there's a partnership thing there. That like.
Yeah,
Rob was it Calitri? I don't. They moved him out to. I think is he the bullpen coach now, or is
they gave
doing something
they
else?
gave him some sort of field level
Right, but I mean,
uh,
but
job.
I don't know how much he was actually doing, right, as a bench coach, except existing. Don will be
Interviews.
more active as a presence there, and I think that can't be understated, the importance of having that sort of because Rob is laid back. Rob is very quiet. Don's a little bit more of a big personality. He's more of a talker. He's more, he's more outgoing, and I think that split in personalities is not a bad thing. They can play off of each other. They can complement each other in terms of how they handle things. I'm not saying they're going to co-manage, but I think Rob will defer to Don on some things. I don't think that would surprise me at all if he says, "Hey, what do you think about
I would think so as
X or
well.
Y if I try this?" I think there's going to be a lot of that, and I think that can only serve to help this team. So I agree with you. It could prove to be the best move of the offseason, just hiring a bench coach, which is crazy, but we do have our hitting coach back, and I hate the heck out of that because he should have been gone 3 years ago.
Well, I don't disagree, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if he makes it through the year.
He will because they'll keep they just don't seem to want to fire anybody, and I get Rob. You can justify that. You can't justify keeping Kevin Long after this team collectively has
Has
gone into
folded.
these slumps at the worst time of the year. That is a reflection of the approach of the hitting. That is a team-wide problem. You need a new voice in the room.
Yeah,
It's not rocket science. Anyway, I could go on. I'm not going to. Um,
not yet.
so I so what I think we need to talk about now is we did miss out on Bo Bichette, and that was a
We did.
surprise, and it really was, I think, something that deflated all of Phillies Nation, all the people that follow the Phillies, and the front office. I think they were stunned by it. The thing
Yeah.
is, though, there are options out there, and I think for you and I agree. I think the biggest name out there is the one they should be going after right now, and that's Cody Bellinger.
Hmm.
He's a natural fit right now.
Agreed.
You bring him in. You would probably in that event get rid of Marsh, move Crawford
Yes,
to
please.
left, Bellinger's in center, Gold Glove caliber center fielder, can hit for power. You give him, I sent you something last night that apparently the Yankees are done playing games. They're like, look, this latest offer of 5 years, and I forget what the money was, but
160, I think.
yeah, I think it was 160,
Something like
but
that.
it was like that's our bottom line. We're not playing games anymore. Take it or leave it. They're not going to go back and forth with him. He's already rejected one offer. So I said to you, I'm like, if I'm the Phillies, give him 175. If 160 is what the
Yeah,
Yankees
why
are,
not?
give him 175. You were going to pay Bo Bichette 200 million. Now, granted, you did sign JT, but only for 45 across that. So I say 175.
Sounds
They
like
gave
it.
him 5 years. I would try to drop that to four, maybe. He's 30 years old. Drop it to four and offer him 175. Call it a day. He might go for that. He could do. He could. Who doesn't want to hit in the Phillies ballpark, right? Like, I mean, the fans are one thing.
Right?
There's a fear, I think, of
Especially from the left side.
right, but the fans are intense, and I get that there's probably a little bit of a fear among players about coming there, coming to that park to play. And not doing well, but
But think,
he could have a good career there. He could have a good
but
run.
think where he's played.
New York,
He's played in
Chicago.
L.A. He's played in
Yeah,
Chicago, and he's played in New York.
yeah.
Like he's
He's done
got.
the big
He's
markets.
played in the big
Yeah,
markets. He can, and he was an MVP.
yeah.
Like
To me, this is
he's got some skill.
this is the pivot. This is the pivot. It's a no brainer. You go throw what you
Swoop him.
have at him and try to bring him in.
Yes, swoop in, grab him before the stinking Mets do.
Seriously, that
And
cannot happen.
I don't. If that happens, I'm legit scared. I'm worried for this team, but I'm legit scared if the Mets sign Bellinger. I think they can absolutely pivot and go for him. Get rid of my good buddy Brandon Marsh.
Yeah, it would make sense to do
And
that.
keep in mind, Bellinger can play anywhere in the outfield and play first base in a pinch.
Right.
Like, hey, Bryce needs a day, put Belly at first base, and then he can put Joe Schmo in left and Crawford in center.
Yeah.
Like
They could.
Otto Kemp will throw him in left for a game. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it's the obvious pivot that they should be making. It's right there. There's a spot for him. Crawford in left. Garcia in right, Bellinger in center. That's a great defensive outfield. That's a great defensive
I
outfield.
think of the ground you're covering.
Yeah.
Like,
The defensive run saved will
none of
go
them are going to be
through the roof
slouches.
compared to what it was last year. Through the roof.
I mean, Bellinger wouldn't have to worry about running down in left center because Crawford will be there before
Well, and
Bellinger takes three
Garcia
strides.
covers a lot of ground too.
Yeah,
So
Garcia can move.
they
So
will.
that whole outfield's covered.
Yeah, to me that makes sense. Some of the other things, and I think you pointed out this may be off the table now, but early in the offseason, there was a lot of chatter about Ketel Marte with the Diamondbacks being on the trade block. That would have involved trading Stott and likely a prospect, possibly Miller, and I don't know that I love that. But Marte's a switch hitter. He bats 300 and he hits in the moments that matter. And he's an adequate defender.
Yeah.
Not Stott level. He's not Stott level of defense, but he's not going to boot the ball. He's not going to cause problems for you defensively either. That intrigued me because we haven't had a good switch hitting regular player really since the Rollins Victorino days, consistently,
At all.
And
yeah,
I do miss
not
that.
at all.
Right. So
switch hitters are tough to come by these days.
They are, absolutely. The other name that I think you and I were talking about yesterday, I mentioned this to you, was I keep seeing Luis Arias coming up, and the Padres have hinted that he may be available. We don't know what the price would be. The Padres, if they're going to trade him, would probably be asking for a king's ransom, and I don't know that we should be doing that. But if you could get him for nothing, maybe it's worth looking at. The problem is, where does he play? He's been playing first base for them. His defense is not that good.
Second.
Well, that's where he did play second, but then they moved him, and I think part of that's because he's not really that fast. He's a good contact hitter, but he doesn't have great speed.
So I think good is an understatement. He's a great contact hitter. He doesn't swing and miss.
No, he doesn't. He makes contact, and that's something we could use. And that's kind of where I was thinking with Marte. Marte is a good contact hitter who has a little bit of pop. He can hit for some power too, but more than anything, he's a really good contact hitter who hits from both sides of the plate. But these are other options that have been discussed and explored. Is a Bohm trade still going to happen? At this point, I think it's less likely. Yeah, I think it's less likely. If Bichette had come in, I think you're probably looking at getting rid of Bohm.
Yeah, I think he's gone, yeah.
But he's not, and it's not looking like there's any big-name infielders that we would be getting at this point anywhere that are even available. So, we talk about Ketel Marte. If we got him, it would likely be Stott going out, so Bohm would probably remain in that scenario. Same with Arias. So I think Bohm will be here for another year, which is kind of surprising. I thought we would find a way to get rid of him, but and that's not the worst thing, because the ideal would be Miller's ready to play third base next year, and then you let Bohm walk. So. That's
they're going to let Bohm walk either way.
No, but I'm saying keeping him this year as much as we have our issues with how he behaves sometimes and his slumping at times, and he's really gotten the last 2 years pretty significant injuries at key times of the season, which isn't necessarily his fault, but it's still something to think about. I think it makes sense to keep him in that scenario because we don't have a better option right now. And he does hit. The guy does hit with runners in scoring position generally. He's serviceable at third base. His throws are still iffy, but he's become better with the glove than he used to be. Yeah.
But we need more than 15 home runs out of the 4-hole.
Well, and that's what I don't know that. Yeah.
No cleanup hitter.
He does drive runs in, but he doesn't hit home runs. But he can drive runs in and does. But I think that's what we're looking at. Bohm's staying. I don't think he'll be leaving this year. My other question, do you think, we kind of addressed this earlier probably, but do you think there's a chance that we add a starting pitcher at like a bottom of the rotation guy maybe before the spring training starts?
Not happening.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it happens. I think we're stuck with Walker. We'll have Sanchez, Luzardo, Nola, Painter, Walker in that order.
And then when Wheeler comes back,
actually they might. yeah, then Wheeler will take over for Walker,
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully,
most likely,
barring any
unless
injuries.
Painter's doing terribly, and
Well, and
barring
then
any
if that's
injuries. And
if
I
Painter's doing
mean,
terribly, we're in a whole other world of trouble because we really just need him to perform.
yes, we are.
So
I mean, we
anyway,
need Andrew Painter that we drafted. Yes.
so we've discussed all the names. We've discussed the moves, the non-moves. Are you confident in this team as things stand if no further moves happen before we get the season going?
God, I hate to say this. No, I'm not. I think right now they are a third place in the division team. I think the Braves are going to be back with a vengeance, and the Mets are going to be quite good. I mean, they might not scare you, but they still have names, they still have pitchers, and that top of the lineup is very scary with Lindor and Soto and now Bichette added. They're it, I'm not confident right now. I hope they can prove me wrong. They had If they get streaky in the right ways, they can our guys can be scary too. But we need some big seasons, especially out of guys like Bryce. I think Trey's going to be the guy this year. I think, but I need Bryce to step up and show me that he still got it.
Well, and I think Crawford. I first of all, I agree. I'm not happy. I'm not confident right now. I don't think that they can't have a good season. I think they could still have a very good season.
Yeah.
My concern is the end of the season and the playoffs. Will they perform then if they get to that point? I think the regular
Well, yeah, I was
season
going
will
to say
be
they have to get there first.
yeah, and I think the regular season will be fine. I think I agree with you though. I think the Braves are the team. Yeah, the Mets have talent, but talent doesn't necessarily win you things. We know that from being Phillies fans. You have to be able to put it together, and I just the Mets find a way every year to just they load the roster up with talent, whether it's injuries or things just not going according to plan. You can't just slap names on a paper. Like there has to be a plan, and I just don't see a plan for how they've constructed that team other than we're just going to out hit everybody. That you know what I mean? Like that seems to be the plan, and that can work to a point, but I
Until
don't.
you play LA.
Yeah, well, yeah, and LA is just ridiculous. I mean, they're just until someone can prove otherwise, LA is going to just continue winning every year the World Series. Like that's just
It's not
until
fair.
someone can knock
It
them
is
off.
not fair.
I don't like it either, but I agree with you though with what you said that the Phillies do have. I mean, we know this group has talent. They are aging, but I do think there's at least 2 years left of their prime, like where they can still perform at a high enough level to
Yeah.
win. And a lot of this is going to come down to a guy like Crawford helping to shore up that bottom of that lineup. Can he flip the lineup over for Trey more frequently than we were seeing last year with some of these other guys? If you have Stott at 8 and Crawford at 9, that's what I would do personally. I think that would be great. I mean, that's a lot
Yeah.
of speed and Stott's got to get back to swinging swinging where the pitch is hit. If he's doing that, we've seen
Yeah.
it 1,000 times. When he's locked in, he can hit left-handed pitching if he just goes with the pitch. Don't try to pull everything.
So think about having those three guys. So you have Stott, Crawford, Turner all on base at the same time.
Yeah,
Like and that foot race to home, it'd be pretty epic to see.
yeah,
Uh,
no, absolutely.
I think they all got. I mean, I'm assuming Trey's still going to have some pretty great speed. Justin Crawford might be the fastest guy in the MLB outside of Chandler Simpson.
Yeah, no,
So
they've got some
we'll see.
speed. They certainly have power between Schwarber, Harper, and Garcia's got some power, right? Like, I mean,
He does,
it's the
yes.
strikeouts with him, right? Like he does swing and miss, but when he makes contact, he can hit it far. And
He can.
so they've got again though. JT's got to be down lower. I need to see my 7, 8, 9. I think what I want to see is JT, Stott, Crawford. That's what I want to see. That's how I would start, honestly. Lock that in as your bottom of your lineup, and then work from there. Like go figure out where you want to maybe have, Trey, then Kyle, Harper.
Yeah.
Presumably they're going to do the same deal with that, unless they get Bellinger. Then that maybe changes things up a little bit. I don't know, with the order of the thing. And if you get Bellinger, that does make me more confident going into the year. Because
Yeah, that'll change everything.
yeah. And again, it's not clear cut, but it makes us definitely more competitive with Braves and the Mets in terms of talent and just
I mean,
a good balance of defense and offense, really, because that's a lineup I'd like. I've wanted Bellinger for a couple of years, but it just hasn't been the right time or the right fit. This is the right time. This is the right time. Go get him.
I so I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd love to see it.
Right now, I don't. But even if I heard that it was on the verge of happening, I wouldn't trust it after what happened with Bichette. Like I.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Just, I've been stalking Twitter. Like I'm trying to search Bellinger Phillies
me too.
together.
Yeah.
It's just not there. It's just not there. Like I saw, like there was some interest.
But the Yankees
We
getting
need to
him
do something to.
if the Yankees take him back, whatever. I like you said, the Phillies cannot allow the Mets to get him. They've got to find a way to outbid them or out whatever. It even sounded like it was a bidding thing. It was just you got to figure out what terms he wants, which it sounds like they did give Bichette what he wanted. So that was a weird game. I don't know why things played out that way for the Phillies there, but Bellinger, I think we could potentially land, but it's a matter of do Middleton and Dombrowski want to go that route. But I guess we'll see. Time will tell. This is where the Phillies stand right now in January, third week of January. Pitchers and catchers report, like you said, in about a month, and the Phillies are where they are. It's hard to be super excited running it back the way we have. We said that couldn't happen, and it's sort of what is happening, except for Garcia, which, you can't really qualify that as not running it back because it's not a big enough change.
Right.
But we are where we are. So, but I think that's all we have right now. Do you want to?
Let's see if I remember how to do this.
Yeah, seriously, it's been a while, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us today. We had a pretty hefty list of things to talk about, but don't forget we are on the social medias. You can follow us on Facebook at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast, Instagram at Phillies Unfiltered, X/Twitter at Funfiltered. That's PHUNPHILTERED. We're on YouTube at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast, and don't forget you can also listen to us on Apple Podcast and Spotify at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast.
Wow, I think you got better at it somehow in the off-season. Have you been practicing?
Yes. I literally am looking at it right now. I'm looking at it right now. I have my iPad under my phone.
Well, either way, it was well done. So, and again,
Thank you.
just we mentioned at the beginning, if you're interested, the other podcast that we are a part of, the Space Between Vice and Virtue is what that's called. You can find that on Apple and Spotify as well. It comes out on Fridays. Every Friday there's a new episode. It'll probably take us to the beginning of March. There's like 8 episodes. So check that out if you're interested. And thank you guys for joining us today. And we look forward to coming back in our full form once spring training sort of picks up and we have a better sense of what this team will look like going into 2025 or 2026. I'm in the past. 2026 is the year we are in. So
right.
We'll talk to you later.
Pitchers and catchers coming up like Christmas morning.
Yeah,
all right, sounds good.
All right,
do something,
Jim,
Phils.
you want to say it? Go Phils.